Well, Jay-Z and Beyonce were out in Beverly Hills this weekend, all smiles.
With good reason.
With very good reason, because they got a big legal victory on Friday.
Can I quote Trump on this one?
Please.
Huge.
It was huge.
Huge.
Absolutely huge. It really is, because there was a woman who had come forward claiming that she had been raped by Jay-Z and Diddy back in 2000 after the VMA at a VMA after party.
And none of it made any sense.
Didn't make sense.
The
Huge
people who were
holes.
supposedly there were out of the state. The place they were at wasn't right.
Wasn't the right place.
There were a lot of holes in there.
And she finally filed to dismiss that lawsuit. So she dropped it voluntarily.
With prejudice.
Cannot be refiled. So this was not a case of a settlement, to be clear. She
walked away, got no money.
Got nothing.
Over.
And Jay-Z celebrated that, the fact that...
We should say, and it was filed by the lawyer who has filed a slew of lawsuits against Diddy,
Tony Busby.
Tony Busby.
Right. And Tony Busby, spoke to us for one of our Diddy docs and was pretty open about this strategy he has of sending these demand letters.
He said this is the game, that you basically send somebody a letter saying, pay up or I'll sue. And if they don't pay up, they'll sue.
Well,
and the point is that, especially for a famous person, it's career ending.
Right. And Jay-Z calls it extortion. And in fact, he is suing Tony Busby over that. So even as the one accuser was dropping her lawsuit, Jay-Z was in court trying to make sure that his extortion lawsuit against Busby goes forward. And he mentioned something we had not heard before. He said that there was a second demand letter sent by Tony Busby to him last fall that mentioned a male accuser who, according to the story, as Jay-Z read it in a letter, claimed that he was underage at the time and that Jay-Z was involved in a sexual assault against him in Beverly Hills. Jay-Z flatly denies all that, but says, this is this guy Busby extorting me. He's sending me a letter that, in Jay-Z's eyes, was very clear he wanted a large sum of money.
Pay up or else I'm going to blow the whistle on you.
Yeah, and it's clear that Jay-Z's not letting this go. If you read his declaration in that case where he is suing Tony Busby, what he's saying is, I viewed these letters as an existential threat to my reputation, everything I've worked my whole life to build, and he wasn't going to take it lying down. So even though this lawsuit's been dismissed with prejudice, the one against him, it seems like Jay-Z's going forward and will continue to pursue Busby, maybe to sort of send a message that you can't do this to a certain type of celebrity, not him.
Well, Jay-Z was calling Busby a 1-800 lawyer.
Called him a 1-800 lawyer and says the system needs to change. You can't have guys like this blowing up the lives of innocent people with allegations that he should be vetting and understand are not true. This is what Jay-Z had to say about this case against Busby. He said, I felt that Mr. Busby was placing a gun to my head, that I either bow to his demands or endure personal and financial ruin. As for the lawsuit filed on behalf of the female accuser, Jay-Z says, Mr. Busby purposely filed this on the eve of my daughter's premiere to put me in the position of having to choose between supporting my daughter or hiding to avoid the negative press. He's referring to Blue Ivy being in Mufasa.
Right.
And he did go to the premiere and stood there and took photos. Didn't say anything to the media, but he posed for those photos. And he just said that this is what's wrong with the system. He says this has to change. You can't have attorneys sending these demand letters and threatening.
I mean, let's just be real for a second. There are a lot of lawyers who call this legal extortion, and that this is the way the legal system works, which is you threaten somebody with reputational harm. And in this case, it's interesting that Jay-Z, who's very wealthy, said it would be financial ruin. So you can only imagine what the dollar demand was.
He also probably meant to his career that his finances are then ruined if he can't make any future deals. But yes, he did think it was a lot of money that they wanted.
And, and look, lawyers talk about this all the time, that there is a group of lawyers who will do this with celebrities, and they've made a big career out of it where, and look, sometimes these cases are legit, But then the question is, how far does the net go, right?
Well, I don't think you want to constrict the net too much that they have to sort of prove their case before they file it. You want to encourage people to file for the redress of their grievances, but you don't want lawyers to look the other way or put their head in the sand about contrary facts that might undermine their case just to score a quick settlement. So there is a balancing act there. I know Jay-Z wants to send a message, but to speak for lawyers, you do want to be able to send demands before you file lawsuits.
Boy, that's a generous way of looking at it, Derek. I mean,
It's a legal way of looking at it. Yeah, it's a lawyer's way.
There are other lawyers who say, you got to fix that some.
Hey, this is Gentry from Georgia, and Beyonce and Jay-Z are not in this type of controversy. So I'm not surprised that Jay-Z is going to go for Busby full-fledged, especially when he thinks it's personal and that he did it before Blue Ivy's premiere. I think it's going to go down, and Jay-Z's not playing any games with him at all.
I got to tell you, when you look at Alex Spiro,
Jay-Z's attorney,
who clearly won this case, and remember what he did for Alec Baldwin in Rust, where the whole thing blew up. I mean, he's on a roll.
Yeah,
he is on a roll. Taking a break.
All right, when we come back, we have not had a chance to talk about this. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about Kid Rock. Was on Bill Maher.